Hello. It's kind of hot and it's also kind of rainy. There's a fly outside the window looking straight at me. You stay over there, matey. Welcome to what I'm going to call the first Thursday afternoon of the summer here in northern Scotland. Climate change, eh? We have got an exciting jam-packed set of things to look at today because we've been very busy, all in the service of improving things for our treasured customers, as ever. So let us hop over to the slides for today and see what's what. I've tried to hide all of the new jazzy fandangos from this latest version of Keynote. I shall not be using an LLM to generate my precious Livestream slides, thank you very much. I think it would stop me from doing it anyway because I've got everything rigged to explode if any AI happens. So no, all handcrafted as usual, as you have come to expect. Let's have a look at what we're doing today. Same stuff, because we have launched a new imprint, completely thrilling, Equine Press. We're not going to talk too much about that today though, because we have got some things to share, which will amaze and delight regardless of whether you're in the Feline Press imaginary imprint or the Equine Press imaginary imprint. So change, reach, levelling up all of our expertise, achieving things at speed and going to the relevant level of depth, so that we all get through our working weeks in one piece. And in the change department this week, we've got a new Data Studio display. Long-time listeners will know that we add new Data Studio displays over the course of time. We wanted to ship the incredible, powerful search functionality as soon as we had it. That was maybe two and a bit years ago, maybe. And then over time we add more and more improvements and ways to enhance it. And it's usually based on what you tell us and what our customers say they need. So let's have a look. Let's go over to the dashboard. What did I say it was going to be? Project stages is what it's called there. Thrilling. Right, so let's go to a saved search. I think this has just a regular products list. So far, so normal. If this is new to you, what we're looking at here is the way to get data out of consonants according to whatever filters you've set up and in whatever format you fancy. So this is a product list, fairly uncontroversial. And you can imagine it, I never want to say replacing, but you can imagine it being familiar from your use of spreadsheets and having various pieces of metadata on. If you click switch to, and this is filtered to all of the products where the status does not include forthcoming or active. We've spoken before about how it can be really useful to come at things from the negative sometimes. Instead of saying the status is any of active, imprint, I can't remember any of the others, but there's bound to be loads. Rather than saying all of the positive ones, sometimes it's quicker to say include none of the following. So that's what we've got here. Products list, lovely jubbly. And as you know, you can see those same products or those same records expressed in different ways. So for all of the products where the status includes none of forthcoming or active, this is the products list. What else can we see? We can also see the contributors list if we wanted to. What else can we see? We can see the subjects list if we want to. What else can we do? We can do batch actions, so we can generate marketing materials for all of these products. We can change some of the data. We can set the work season to be different and so on and so forth. So there's lots of ways of kind of following your nose, I think, in consonants. You know, you hold in your head what it is you're trying to look at, and then you can find yourself being inspired, thinking, well, yeah, I am actually interested to see what the prices are for this. And then I might go and do a price update and use this as a regular report to come back to. Silly almost to mention any specific options that you might do, because it really is kind of, I was going to say limitless. Obviously it's limited, but I wouldn't like to try and draw the edges around all of the different things that you could do with this one feature during your working day. And so it's this that we have added another option to this week. I'll scroll down first before typing to filter the list of options there, so that you can see where it is if you do chance across it. It's actually quite far down. It's in overviews. We haven't put that many displays and overviews yet. We've got the results overview, which is really just a count. Relevant, I think, if you've got a bazillion records in your publishing, and it's quite useful to see the number 85,000 rather than listing them all or whatever. So this is another kind of overview page. I'll click on it and we'll look at the project stages board. Before I do that, I'm going to star it, and that's added it to the favourites. If I scroll to the top now, I don't need to ferret around looking for that again next time I come here. Don't forget that I can type to filter, so project stages. And look at this, going to be useful in a bit, isn't it? Not only can we see our works within their project stages, spoilers, but also we can set work project stages to be a different thing. So think about project stages as being really whatever labelling you give to the idea of having works at different stages of the project as they approach publication and then beyond. So project stages and being able to set them, quite powerful features. Stop yammering on, let's have a look at what it looks like. So I click and here it is. Now you will recognise this general layout, perhaps, maybe, don't know, should do, from Pipelines. Pipelines was launched fairly recently, and it's our take on a Kanban board. Now I'm not going to lie, I really want to provide you with the materials and beauty and sort of seamlessness in being able to get at your data, your workflow data, in the same way that you would if you had to export it to another kind of off-the-shelf system like Monday.com or Trello or other project management tools. It just breaks my heart, the idea that you would introduce that complexity by necessity into your workflow. So we're working really hard to, I suppose, simply achieve feature parity, but also better, feature betterarity, with some of the bog standard tools that you're sometimes driven to use. Multiple reasons for that. If there's one version of the truth, you don't have to send data from one system to another. You don't have to pay for multiple systems. Your team doesn't have to be trained on multiple systems. There's no lag between systems being synchronized. There's more of a chance for data to immediately update other data. I mean, a great example is with our to-dos. You can key those to-dos off of other dates in meaningful places throughout the system. Manuscript delivery dates, handover from editorial to production dates. All of these kind of production and contract specific domain pieces of information, we use them within workflow as well. So, when I say seamless, it's like it's seamless because there are no seams, not because we've done some fancy API call. It's the same data. It's literally one version of the truth. I was checking my words as I said that, because you don't want to say literally and then say something stupid. But it is. There's a cell in a database table that contains that information, and we reference it multiple times. So it's the smart way, it's the smart thing to do, if you possibly can, to use constants for your workflow as much as your metadata and contract and production management. So to that end, this is a display in Data Studio, and here we are seeing some of the records that have been returned in the project stage columns. So a little bit of preamble. Use this board. I don't know why I'm shouting. I think I'm excited. I'll stop shouting. Use this board to view and update project stages for the filtered works. So the filtered works are up here. To update the project stage of many works at once, switch to set work project stage. We did that a moment ago. To see a list of project stages, switch to in-house work classifications list. There's our switch to, we can do that. And you can switch to anything you like. Just trying to give some ideas here. And then crucially, to reorder the stages, go to settings, project stages. Because I hope, it was a little Easter egg, I hope the first thing you saw was, what's going on here? Acquisition, then reprinting, then live, then commissioning. It's the world gone mad. We're in topsy-turvy land. So we're going to go and put those into a sensible order. But I also have to say that the absolute beauty of these is that these are your words. You call the things what you want to call them, and then you're using constants to reflect reality. I'm agitated by the idea that any system requires you to hold the hacks in your head, hold the workarounds. So yeah, the less of that, the better. So we'll go and reorder these project stages in a moment. We're not having you reorder them on this view here because they are set at the kind of company level, and you don't really want your intern to be just looking at, the report that they've sensibly run, have a little fiddle with the project stages, and then realise that that's reset it for the whole company. So we do have that on, on its own page, safely within the furniture that suggests that you're changing something. But what we do have here are cards, and the cards here represent works, really. And the reason that Cats from History is in this live column is because if we go to the metadata page for Cats from History, we will see that the project stage is live. So this is like a pictorial expression of data that you've already put into the system if you're using project stages. If you're not, perhaps this will be an encouragement for you to perhaps consider using project stages within Consonance, because now not only can you store that information, but this is like yet another way to reason with it more interestingly. And you can change project stage within this Data Studio view. So I'll show you what I mean. Grab this exemplar one, pop it in live. It's done. So I envisage this being a really useful tool, perhaps for acquisition meetings. Filter down the records that you're considering in this meeting. It might be by commissioning editor. In fact, it could be the big acquisition meeting, and we start with the first commissioning editor, filter down to their products. We see them here. We consider them. We click to dive down into the detail, so we can go in and see any discussions and any commentary that's been made so far. We can see, the different information at different levels of completeness. So this one's got all of the to-dos there. So, really useful. Instead of somebody having to sit and generate an agenda pack for the important acquisition meeting, do it on the fly, using the data that's in the system up on the big screen in front of you. So we could go through commissioning editor number 1's information, and when we're done, we can say, yep, that sounds great, move it on to the next stage. So, scything out entire sections of busy work, making it so that somebody doesn't have to go back to their desk and write up the minutes and circulate it to everyone, and then that's in an email and nobody, miss somebody off the list. One version of the truth. Let me take you to the metadata page for one of these works, just so that you can tie up in your mind where this has come from. So Cats Throughout History, it's currently in the, press escape, it's currently in the live project stage. I'm going to click there. I can click through to Cats Throughout History. I'm actually going to right mouse and open link a new tab so I can come back. Here we are on Cats Throughout History overview page. I go to the metadata page. Here's the project stage that I'm talking about. So click to edit, either double click on this region or click to edit. And I can just, I can change the project stage here as well. Fine. Save that. Let's go back to the other page, update it, and then we'll see, it's updated there. So one version of the truth, I edited this data in one way, I can edit it in other ways as well. So that's what we're talking about there. It's those in-house work classifications at the top of the metadata page. If you have an appetite for this, if you are clapping your hands with glee or spitting your coffee onto the screen with delight, do let us know, because we've done project stages so far. We can totally do the other ones, and we can also do issues, and we can also do, what was the other one I was thinking? To-do stages in that Kanban format. But we don't want to do the wrong work, so we do rely on you to let us know what you're interested in. And I'm not saying this because nobody ever does. We are deluged with fantastic ideas at the moment, and it's joyful. It's so exciting to be in such rich conversation with so many people. It means we know that we're servicing you in the correct way. So I'm not shouting saying, oh, no one ever emails, quite the contrary. But it really is the lifeblood of things. So fantastic bit of collaboration, team, everyone. So if you like seeing things in a kind of Kanban column format, definitely shout. You could even like this video. I'll take that as a, if there are any likes on this video, it's because you like this one feature. That's very imprecise. Just email us. Let us finish this bit off by going to settings, project stages, and reordering the columns so that you can see what I'm talking about there. In consonance, when something's a link, looks like a link, it is a link. So I'm going to right mouse and open link in new tab. Internet normal. In this chaotic era, just let's do things normally, shall we? Yes. So here's my project stages page. It's actually over in settings because we don't expect people to be changing fundamental things like this very, very often. But as you know, because I bang on about it, our settings area is as beautiful and well maintained and structurally wonderful as any other page within Consonance, because I hate that thing where there's the shiny marketing page with all of the gradients and the whiz bangs, and then the home page is all right, but getting a bit bad. And then you go to the settings pages, it's clearly not been touched since 1982. So we are very keen on making sure that there's beauty wherever you step within Consonance. So let's put these into a sensible order. Acquisition comes, no. How about commissioning comes first? I mean, these words are just made up as well, so it could be anything, but commissioning, acquisition, live, reprinting sounds a bit more sensible. Let's go back to our thing here, our, what do you call it? Can't even think of things. Our page, and see if we've got that right. So commissioning, acquisition, live, reprinting. Commissioning, acquisition, live, reprinting. Great. So if you haven't used project stages, this might be food for thought, might be a useful addition to other workflow features within Consonance. I'll just sort of reverse back a moment. Did I put this on the listy thing? That'd be great, because then, yes, I did. So moving on to Reach, I just wanted to show you other Kanban expressions within Consonance currently, because this might look really familiar from the pipelines work that we did recently. So over in project management, pipelines, here's my apparently current hit list. Great. And on my current hit list is, any moment now, Cats Throughout History in a stage called Don't Forget. And I called it Don't Forget just to demonstrate that these don't have to be proper, formal, official sounding words. Make Consonance reflect your reality. If you want to have a current hit list with a column of Don't Forget and then another column maybe of Forget, then absolutely knock yourself out. Every part of Consonance except for the metadata page is really to do with your own team dynamics. So it's not going to appear on Amazon if it's to do with workflow. So same sort of thing. Here we are on a pipeline. A pipeline has stages, and you can add new stages, call them whatever you want. And then the cards within a pipeline can be added. Let's add a new card here. You can call it something, and or you can select a work, you can select a contact, share, and save that. And then you can, drag these around, just as we were doing with the project stages. With pipelines, when you click to open the further information, you get like a simulacrum of the work overview page, but you haven't had to go somewhere. You can hit escape and you're back in project management land. So that's quite lovely. And you can also edit the to-dos from within here. You can tick them off, and that will change any statuses. You can, it's like windows within windows. You can update the to-dos. You can, do your job, move around, not have to think about the tool, but think about, sending the cover brief, right, and who's responsible? Yes, it's them. And is it done? No. Right, let's crack on. I know that we spend our Thursday afternoons together talking about the tool, but it's with the intention of it receding into the background so that you can see your information, not see, the software. No one cares about the software. It's you getting through the day that is the important thing. So that's like the metadata project management overview there. If you click on the three dots in a trench coat icon there, you've got some other options as well. There's the metadata overview page, so that's just restricted to metadata. Again, familiar from the work overview page, and you can absolutely then drill down into Data Studio there. We've also got some information about the card. I did just want to highlight, because this was a user request, there's a tiny little mini audit trail on cards here. So if you want to drag Cat's Art History onto X and then drag it back again, and then you want to interrogate yourself on that a couple of weeks later, all of these drags are going to be recorded, which can be quite nice for an acquisition flow, can't it? To say, well, everything went into the big hopper here, we reviewed, we paused, we moved on, these are the dates, this is how long each kind of card, each work, each project stays in this particular stage. Really useful for retrospectives. And then you can go straight to the work as well. So lots of interesting, hopefully ideas, food for thought there. And all of this is about us ramping up our ability to help you manage all of your workflow within Consonance. We are specifically encouraging you to consider this as an alternative to Monday.com, to, I can't think of any other project management tool, Trello, Jira. We all go through our Jira phase, don't we? So highly motivated to hear any further exciting stretch goals that you might want us to reach for on this sort of thing. Great. Okie doke. What is next on the list? I'm going so fast today because we've got so much to cover. Also, it's really hot up here, so I'm motivated as well to get back in the air. Right, depth. I have written on this slide with great power, because one of our wonderful team has delivered a very a modest yet powerful feature, which I wanted to highlight because it's small, and it's small in as much as subtle on the page, and you might not immediately have seen it, but I would like you to know that it's there. So let's go to Cat's Art History, and let's go to Mary Glover's page. So we're on the overview here for a person, a contributor, and we are going to be able to look at Mary Glover's works if we want to, at their track copies, at their royalties, and we're going to be able to edit their information as well. Bear in mind, of course, this is all completely made up. There is no such person as Mary Glover. So we are not infringing anyone's privacy by looking at imaginary people in imaginary publishing companies. And what I want to draw your attention to is the notes area that has appeared on the profile summary here. Now, notes fields are not our favourite field to promote, for the simple reason that they are hugely compelling to users. Because a notes field is it's a delightful dumping ground, isn't it, for whatever you're thinking about. The huge danger there is that the wrong sort of information gets blobbed into it when that information might have a much better home. So don't say in a notes field, Mary Glover is the pseudonym of Bob Smith. No, put that in, search out the correct place for that, so that then we can say up here pseudonym, and we know that this is all properly structured. And if it's a pseudonym, it might need to go out in Onyx. And so, data structure matters for your future proofing and for your ability to send that data out to other places. That doesn't mean that you're not allowed a notes field. I just wanted to preamble talking about the notes field with, make sure that you've interrogated the system before resorting to a notes field. But there's some stuff that definitely belongs in that more sort of free-form area. And a lot of it can come down to the sort of the human condition. If we want to say something really sort of nuanced and personal about Mary Glover, Mary Glover has just, they might be an author, they might just have left their company to set up a new business on their own, which is a competitor to their previous company. There are political sensitivities here. You don't want to leave it to a checkbox to sort of elaborate on them. You want to be able to click on add a note, and you want to be able to say, just bear in mind, when you're talking to Mary, there might be some sensitivities because she's just set up Blob Books and her previous publishing company is a little bit sore about it. Do you know what I mean? Like subtleties, nuances, human kindnesses, things that happen in life. Definitely useful to put in a notes field. And we wrote this extra tiny feature, but we put it up here, kind of above the fold, as they used to say, because it's this sort of information that you want to be able to quickly notice. If you come to this page, you're just about to include them in a mail shot and you see, oh gosh, wow, they've just left that company. They've started a competitor. I shall tread carefully. I shall be subtle. Because previously the notes was only available at the bottom of the profile page where it had been filled in. And really that was there because we felt, don't draw attention to the notes field. Don't necessarily encourage data that should be elsewhere to go in a notes field. But, it's your system. You use it how you will use it. But we just wanted to point out that is now there. So you can put things in notes and you can be a little bit more reassured that folk will chance across that information when they come to the main page for each contact. Great stuff. Similarly, relationships. That's a slightly more structured way to sometimes draw attention to, the two sort of people who shouldn't be invited to the same party or something like that. So yes, all sorts of useful stuff that can be added there. Great. So thank you very much, kind user. You know who you are, for taking the time out of your day to drop us a line to say, it would be great. So we listened, and there it is, and we're grateful for you for giving us this gold dust insight. Thank you very much. Keep them coming. Contact notes: with great power comes great responsibility, which we trust you to do. Next on the list is expertise. What a funny word to put on a slide, I bet you're thinking. So this is correctly filed under expertise because this is an expert feature. And something went out about it on notifications earlier this week. And we've had some really, thanks again so much just for, it's the enthusiasm that comes back. It's really lovely. You know, we're working on this feature, which I'll explain in a moment. People immediately get it and they say, yes. Here's what I want you to do with this idea. So it's good times. So let me tell you what this is all about. Liquid is what they call a templating language. And I think the most straightforward way to describe it is by harking back to mail merges that we all grew up on when we were juniors, doing mail merges using Word or Lotus Notes or something like that. It's the idea where you have a blob of text that you are in control of, you write into your document editor, but then you want to sort of snick in bits of data into that. And I mean, think about how contracts work, you know, memorandum of understanding between author name and publisher name, dated the signed date. You know what I mean? It's like a merging. So it's a mail merge, isn't it? It's merging together fixed text and dynamic data. So that's what Liquid is. I'm going to show you what it looks like. And as I say, this is in the expertise bit of the presentation today. And it's I was going to say something like it's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for people who don't want to go anywhere near data, certainly. Let's just have a look, shall we? We don't need to be frightened. If you choose to opt into this beta, then it'll be there'll be an option here on data exchange, custom texts, and marked as beta or beta, however it's actually pronounced. I'm not sure. I've only ever read it. So we click on that. And we've got some options here. So when you come to this page for the first time, what you will see is an example of a template that you have told us about, because we are releasing this feature in at an incredibly early stage. You can't edit it yet. You can't add a new one. That's for like work level stuff. We are going to put a template into your account and you're going to be able to view it. So let's view this, one of these test ones that I've got here, and see what we're talking about. And a modal pops up for the moment. You can copy its contents to the clipboard, so you can, you'll be able to do that. And what sort of things have we got here? Well, it looks to me like a title verso page. It's some plain text, and it says proudly published by Feline Press. Title: Cats Throughout History by Mary Glover, hardback, ISBN, number of products 4, and then some other stuff. So there's definitely data going on in here, and there's also some free text. And so this is the output of one of these pieces of custom text. So let's have a look to see what it looks like when we write the template for you. And we're showing you this at this really early stage because you are going to be able to write this templating language yourself in the fullness of time. You can't at the moment, but I want to give you the heads up that it exists. And another clue or another way to talk about it is, have you ever tried to edit a Shopify site? Because Shopify actually wrote the Liquid templating language. And the reason why it exists is because, enthusiastic people want to be able to do fairly bespoke things with their own HTML in Shopify's case, or with their own text or PDFs. So this is a way to kind of brush up really quite closely to programming, but doing it through the Consonance interface. So it is super exciting. All of this is to say, don't worry when you see the next page. It does look quite technological, but it's fine. Don't worry. It's going to be great. I'm clicking on it now. Let's have a look. So this is the code that you will be able to edit and add in to your system. And it's this code that created that text that we saw in the modal. And line 1 is really nicely uncontroversial because there's nothing fancy going on. It is a line of plain text, proudly published by Feline Press. And then the very next line has an if statement, and it says, if there's a work copyright notice, then print in here the work copyright notice, and then end that if statement. Now, there is so much punctuation going on, and I can only apologise for programming, but the punctuation is to help delimit where the commands are. So this first bit here, if work.copyright notice, means if there's a work copyright notice. And once you start reading this stuff aloud, it really does become kind of a bit clearer. It'll all be in English. There will be some squiggles to get right. This is like an opening bracket and a closing bracket. When you've got 2 of these squiggles next to each other, that means that we're printing on the page. The next line down is similarly interesting. No if statement on this. Nothing that says that this is only going to display conditionally. That's what an if statement is. This is going to print no matter what. So it's going to print title with a colon on the page, and that's just plain text. Then we've got our 2 squiggles, and we're going to print out the work's title, work.title. But we're able to do formatting. So we can transform the string that is work.title returns, which is something like horsing around, and then we can present it in uppercase. So it's this sort of thing that Liquid is going to excel at. You're going to know all of the different bits of data that you can present on the page, because there's going to be documentation and the page is going to help you with that. Then you can format it and do interesting things with it. You can put things conditionally on the page. So if the number of contributions on this work is greater than 0, then by all means step through those contributions and say what the role description is and what the person name inverted is of the contact. I mean, this is going to be a whole big thing, a whole tutorial, but you're going to be able to specify templates within consonants that allow you to get to this level of granularity, this level of control. So if you are, for instance, at the moment, making your title verso pages by hand, or sending them out to a third party, or doing some complicated mail merge from a custom report that you get from consonants that you mail merge into Word, or if you do something weird with InDesign, then this is going to sidestep a lot of that aggro. Yeah, and this doesn't barely scratch the surface, but I hope it at least gives you, a little bit of a sense of what's possible. And I have to say, things like Liquid are a bit of a gateway drug into programming. And if you've got people on your team who are just a little bit that way inclined, who like a bit of an afternoon delving into Excel to see what it can do, or who've done a bit of scripting in Python or something, this is very Moorish. And it's very captivating because the feedback loop is so short. You try something like, wait, so I've got a product publication date here. Can I just print the year out? And then you start learning about this string formatting capability where you can give it a date. And you look up on the internet how to get the year bit out of it, and it happens to be %Y for the 4-character year and %y for just the 2 characters on the end, and you think, oh my god, I didn't know you could do that with a date. And then you go further, and before you know it, 20 years has passed and you're running a software company. So yeah, really exciting moment for us. I mean, the phrases that spring to mind are power tools, are agency, control, future-proofing, extensibility, being able to do very advanced things with your own data at scale, and not having to rely on, well, programmers, really. I mean, it's lovely to hear from you and work with you and everything, but it's also really nice to build the tools so that you've got control over your day and do things the way you want to do them. So exciting times. We would love to hear if this sparks any ideas. And already we've had some fantastic thoughts like launch packs and prelim generation, end notes generation, advanced information sheets, emitting XML and other kind of markup languages. There's nothing to stop you using this to emit HTML and that sort of thing. So, definitely let us know what you need in this, because we can take it in a number of different ways. So super exciting. Great. Have I said everything on that? I think I've said everything on that. Yeah, great. Yes, we just need ideas now, because what we're doing is writing a whole bunch of examples so that the sort of early adopters will help us to say, oh, we want it to go in this direction. We will use that insight to build some templates, and then we'll share them with the wider group, with all of our customers, to say this is now an example of the sort of thing you can build with this. Does this spark any ideas? And then in the end, just ship the entire editor as well. So yeah, join the party at any stage, whatever's appropriate for your interests and hopes and dreams. Great. Yeah, and continuing on expertise, I thought I would explicitly say thanks for the emails. I was moved today to write the following slide, and I'm sorry it's a slide with bullet points, but I've been super busy and didn't have time to do too much beauty. But I thought I'd just pop this up because it was my notes on all of the things that could have been added into the live stream this week. I thought, well, I'll just share that with everyone, because it's just incredible how much we do as a team every week. And I'm not sure that I do the best job of communicating that widely. So here's a slide full of words for you. And I'm just going to pick off some of these things. But isn't it amazing how much we do? I mean, there's a lot of kind of little beneficial things in here: improving the search owner button visibility, improving the title link in the work header, just shaving tiny little potential irritations off people's days. This is quite an interesting encapsulation of we're always improving, buffing, shining, and also doing incredibly deep work, structural, difficult, thoughtful work that perhaps I don't shout about on a live stream every week, but that's the sort of foundational stuff that makes us, frankly, unique in the market for having this incredible data studio capability, these incredible interface affordances that, again, hopefully recede into the background, just let you get on with your day. But I'm very, very clear that we as a team are building the best bibliographic data management software. I was actually going to say software, because my God, the other people's software that we have to grapple with all day long drives me to distraction. So yes, Consonance is the single best software on this planet. That's my stance. I'm definitely standing by it. So some of the things this week that we've been talking about. We had a wonderful call with one of our clients who was interested in why the number of languages that you can choose for the language of a work, why is it so short? There's only about 200 on the list, and that is the standard that we're adhering to. That standard has 200 odd languages in the drop down. And the client, pointed out, but there's like 700, and one of our mandates is to make sure that we are correctly tagging our works written in local dialect, written in potentially threatened languages. We want to do our bit to make sure that it's marked up, because then at the end of the year, we can report on how many works we have published in this threatened language, and so we can show that we're having impact in that area. So we've had this really useful chat with them and with a few other relevant clients, and we're going to be looking to reinforce our ability for you to be able to tag works with dialect and more languages. It won't be able to go out in Onyx because Onyx doesn't support that yet, but that shouldn't stop us from allowing you to tag these works up appropriately. Then you can do reporting through Data Studio on that, and then, you know, I'm sure the industry will continue to develop their capability and we can mesh back in with that as and when. So that was just one exciting conversation. How great to be able to help people with such strategically vital endeavours. Then I thought I'd just list some of the people, and honest to God, this is like in the last 3.5 days, these are the people who we have enhanced, buffed, improved, delivered new Onyx feeds to on behalf of our clients, and other configurations. There are about like 150, 200 or so that we deal with, but you know, all behind the scenes, this is happening. Everyone's hard at work. Yeah, lots of improvements this week. That custom text beta feature is what we were just looking at with the liquid templating language. And all of this deep work that's going on. Next week I might show you, or at some point I'll show you heat maps. I'll talk to you about human readable accessibility statements. I'll show you some improvements in the peer review process. All sorts of things, and we're onboarding 6 brand new clients at the same time. So what a privilege to have remained in business for long enough that we've got this service that is clearly providing great value and keeping us all very busy, because nothing stands still, does it? It's a moving feast. There's always more to be done. So I just thought I'd, you know, draw the curtain back, little peek there, see how amazing our team is, see how amazing you the customers are, for driving us forward and for giving us such fabulous insights into what you need. Oh, it's important, isn't it? It is important that we disseminate useful knowledge in a professional manner in this day and age. These are the stones we throw into the stream, and the ripples hopefully go out and change the universe just a little bit. We're doing our bit, aren't we? Speed. This isn't live yet, but this is a lovely example of the sorts of things I'm talking about. Treasured client, you know who you are, had a little musing at the beginning of this week saying, you know, it'd be really great if we could see some statistics on the keywords that we're writing in, because one of our recipients that begins with A and has a Z in it has very particular requirements for keywords, and we need to know, you know, are we writing our keywords and our keyword phrases in a way that is going to be ingested in the most appropriate way into their systems. And so this is coming on the metadata page. Incredibly fast work and beautiful, if I say so myself. So that will, at a glance, and this will change as you type. So the number of characters will increment as you increment and go down as you go down. So hopefully that will be helpful. But I thought that was a useful one to just draw out, because, you know, I mean, I don't know what other systems are like, I suppose. But I think having an idea on Monday and seeing it at quality control level on a Thursday is pretty fast work within the sort of boundaries of excellently tested, thoroughly examined, validated against client requirements, validated against the future requirement for the recipient of this data. You know, it's very good to be in a position where we have a maintainable code base. We can't change our code if we don't have the level of testing, both sort of automatic and person based. We can't move this fast if we didn't have the team and the code in the position that we do have. I'm clearly feeling very, very proud this week of all of the things that we do, because it's all coming together. You know, this hard work that we've done for 15 years means that we can, you know, ship things that you need, help you get your books out into the world. So that's it for this week, and I just about fitted it within an hour. I knew it was going to be a bit tight this week. But to make up for it, I shan't see you next week. You won't believe why. I have got an exam. An actual, like, sit down with a writing implement, do an exam. I've been pursuing an Open University degree in natural sciences, so it's the end of the year exams. Heavy on biology and chemistry and physics and earth science and maths. So that's what I'll be doing next Thursday. And I was going to pre-record one, but I thought, actually, no, I'll just jam this one absolutely to the rafters with great stuff. The following Thursday, I also have a family obligation. So that might be pre-recorded, or I might deliver it at a slightly different time of the day, but I don't think I'll do one at all next week, because I've got to get my head into the game. It's I tell you, it's very interesting being on the receiving end of education at the age of very good. But within the next week, if you need to know anything about DNA or geology or angles, then let me know, and hopefully I'll retain it after that. No promises. Yeah, so wish me luck, and have a lovely week in the meantime. And keep the amazing ideas coming, and thank you for all of the incredible inspiration. You are an inspiration to us, so keep on keeping on, and I'll see you next